Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. I'm back with another one today, and I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to jump right into it. There's been some news that I think you should be aware of. We're going to take a look at the charts and a little bit about the market first, and then after that I'm going to touch a little bit on some NFTs. So diving into it here, I'm just going to share my screen. All right, so taking a look at the markets, Bitcoin has ranged a little sideways and is starting to work its way back up again. It's still above the $37,000 mark, so things are looking healthy, things are looking bullish. We were looking at a potential little bit of a pullback there, but we were able to regain our footing, so that's always nice. ETH is doing well as well, back above 2,000, working its way towards 2,100. Everything's looking pretty healthy. Jumping into some altcoins. So overall things are doing pretty well today too. A few runners. So we got Gala moving almost 7%, HBAR 6.5%, Tau 17%. Lido's doing well. So things are looking healthy overall for the alts as well. Now, before I dive into the news, I just wanted to discuss a little bit about where we sit in the market and what's going on right now. So it's almost confirmed at this point, if not, I would say it's pretty well confirmed that we are in crypto spring and moving towards crypto summer, and things are likely to stay bullish overall moving forward, and momentum is gonna pick up in my opinion. So not that we can't range sideways for little bits of time or slight pullbacks, that's normal, but overall I'm gonna make the statement that if you haven't already, you need to prepare now because the bull market is kicking off. If not, it's already kicked off. So discussing a little bit about strategy and tactics for those that are less experienced or still trying to put a strategy together for themselves. Bitcoin and ETH are always good to have in your stack starting off if you need a starting point. From there, you're going to make much higher gains in the alts. That's just the way it is. Anything in the top 10 is, or top 15 is what you might call a blue chip. So those are pretty well the safest bets when it comes to the alts. A lot of them are layer ones that compete with Ethereum. So those would be things like BNB, Solana, Cardano, Tron, Polygon, Avalanche, things of that nature. So those are your blue chips, and overall you're going to likely see higher gains in those than you're going to see in Ethereum, which is every cycle usually higher returns than Bitcoin. Essentially, money trickles down from Bitcoin as liquidity comes into the market, and the lower you go down on the chart, the higher the amount of volatility. So when it's green, it tends to run higher. The smaller the market cap, the less money it takes to run. So if you're looking for safer investments, of course, the Bitcoin and ETH and a few of the layer ones. If you're looking for higher returns and you're trying to put a strategy together to make quote unquote life-changing gains, an amount of money that is going to make quite a difference in your life, you can do that with not a large amount of capital if you go into higher risk, lower market cap projects. So I'm not going to make any recommendations, but I just wanted to recap a little bit about strategy. So for those of you that are trying to make life-changing gains in this market, you do want a few coins that are lower in market cap that you feel can do well or have a good narrative or a strong team behind them, whatever your thesis might be. That is where you're going to make your outsized gains on relatively small amounts of money. You're not going to turn $1,000 into $100,000 with Bitcoin, but you can do that with an altcoin that is further down the list. So when you are looking at altcoins, I would not encourage having more than maybe 10 coins maximum in your portfolio. Otherwise, it's hard to keep your pulse on what's going on and react as things are moving around in the market. You're going to miss out on news, different pieces of information that you might need to know. It's going to be hard to monitor and move properly if you have too many coins in your portfolio. So I would recommend maxing out at 10. Maybe like in my opinion, if I was starting from scratch, I would have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, one or two layer ones up in this top 20, some one or two picks probably within the top 200, and then a couple high risk picks which are down in much further down on the list. So when it comes to the picks that would be in the top 200 and further down on the list, I would, if this is me speaking, look at categories or market segments and pay attention to the narratives and what's going on in those. So for this cycle, I'm focusing more so on gaming and AI as narratives and sectors outside of specific platforms and larger coins. So those are two different sectors that you can find some relatively low on the list picks that could have outsized returns that still have some narratives going on with that because of the news and different things going on in the world right now. AI, especially because that's really taken off this year, and now with all this drama going on with Sam Altman leading OpenAI and then what's going on there, there's going to be a lot of AI in the news in the coming months and coming next couple of years as things develop there. And gaming was a very strong narrative last time as well. I think there's going to be even more money that comes into crypto gaming as a sector this cycle, and a lot of the games that we're developing over the last few years are finally going to be launching in 2024. So that is another sector that I would recommend looking at. So if you want to look into these a little bit further and try to find some picks for yourself, I am going to make a separate video on gaming coins. I had a few people ask me about that when I mentioned it last live stream. And then I'll probably do one on AI as well. But in the meantime, if this is something that you want to dig into a little bit yourself, if you go to CoinGecko here and you go under categories, you see that they have coins broken down by category. So what you can do is you can go under gaming and look there, and there's, for instance, if you want to look at metaverse, you can look under the metaverse category. DeFi, there's DeFi. Etc., etc. So if you go through here, there's all different categories, and you can take a look at both gaming and AI if that's something that you want to take a look at as well. All right, so moving along, Argentina's new president has been elected. So Javier Milei, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Milei, he was elected, and he was the candidate that is very much pro-Bitcoin. A lot of people are watching this, speculating if he's going to make a move similar to El Salvador and bring in Bitcoin as legal tender if he gets elected. Obviously, he just got elected, so there's not any news on that yet. He did make a statement that he plans to replace the local peso there with the US dollar and shut down the central bank. This is not necessarily pro-Bitcoin news, but he is making changes and planning on changes already to the banking sector and getting rid of the central bank. I do think as inflation peaks up with the US dollar over time, that he may look at bringing in Bitcoin as legal tender, similar to El Salvador, and even potentially building out Argentina as more of a crypto hub to compete with some of the other cities and countries across the world that are attracting startups and talent to build there. So definitely worth bringing this to your attention if you hadn't seen it already, and something we'll keep a pulse on. Moving along. So Santander Private Bank, which is a massive private bank, they have introduced Bitcoin and Ethereum trading for Swiss clients. So this is big. This means a lot of large, or I'll say high net worth individuals that deal with Santander Bank are going to be able to trade directly through the bank now. They're going to feel that this is considerably more safer. And I do think that rather than doing smaller plays through family offices, which no doubt a lot of these high net worth individuals had already done over the last few years, but I do think this opens the gateway to even more coming from them through a secure arm like Santander. So overall, it's bullish news for liquidity coming into Bitcoin and ETH. Moving along. So XRPL, so this is some Ripple news. They've integrated an EVM sidechain. So EVM is a virtual Ethereum machine. So this means that ETH apps will be able to interact with this sidechain, run on this sidechain, which makes it easier for things on the XRP side to communicate with Ethereum and back and forth in terms of assets. It's not a bridge, it's a sidechain, but nonetheless, it is potentially a nice catalyst for XRP. So going to be watching that moving forward to see how that affects the XRP ecosystem and liquidity as well. Next up, Dfinity has tapped SingularityNET, which is the biggest, I'll say, by market cap AI project on crypto rails right now. It is AGIX, AGIX, for those of you that are wondering about the ticker symbol for it. And it runs natively on Cardano, but also is expanding now to Ethereum and other places as well. So it's cross-chain. Dfinity has tapped them to bring AI services to DApps. So this is potentially huge because a lot of the DApps that are running right now, obviously, like they don't have any type of AI or things built in. They're in I'll call it season one of what a DApp means to the user. So integrating AI with this partnership and a lot of DApps integrating AI, I think that's going to build out the user experience and the use cases for them further and bring on a lot more users as they advance and develop. So definitely thought that this was interesting to bring about. So it's going to improve the infrastructure of decentralized AI and allow decentralized applications on the internet computer blockchain to access large language models. So this is also bullish for ICP, and we'll have to see how these DApps fare when a lot of them go live or gain larger user bases. ICP hasn't been out for very long, so I do think we'll see throughout the next 2 years more users start to test out the DApps and things there. So if this if this partnership goes well and some of those DApps really have a strong use case and user experience, and ICP can have a nice bloom in terms of market cap as well as users from this. So if you're looking for, I guess, not necessarily a blue chip, but something right below a blue chip, it didn't really do that well upon the launch, dropped fairly far from its listing when ICP came out because of things that were going on at the time. But I do think ICP will fare pretty strongly over the next few years. So as an alternative to something like a Solana or Cardano or an AVAX, if you're looking for a little bit riskier play or like a contrarian play, ICP might be it. Moving along, Ubisoft, they're bringing Rayman. I remember playing Rayman when I was younger on Game Boy. The original Game Boy, the clear purple one, for those of you that remember that. And Captain Laserhawk NFT Avatars of Sandbox. So I touched on Sandbox integrating with different movie studios and things to bring in users. So it looks like they're continuing the partnerships and a marketing run to try to boost things going into 2024. So they're going to be doing more of these avatar partnerships, probably even more after this. And overall, they're just trying to get more users into Sandbox from the gaming sector. And also from this new Netflix animated series, Captain Laserhawk. So overall, not some groundbreaking news, but I am keeping my pulse on these partnerships for metaverse and NFTs to watch how that'll affect, how it'll potentially affect the metaverse markets as well as the NFT markets. So the avatars will be on Polygon, ETH Layer 2. A lot of these platforms are building on Polygon just because of the gas fees and whatnot. So we'll keep an eye on this. And since I was talking about NFTs, and someone mentioned in the comments on the last video they'd like me to talk about NFTs, I'll touch on some NFTs for a little bit. So let me pull up Opensea here. We'll just take a look at what's going on. I'm going to do this live as I'm working through things. So let's close a few of these tabs here. There we go. All right, so Blur Farmers. That's interesting considering we're on Opensea. I don't know if this has anything to do with the Blur marketplace or not, but the top trending one with over 10 ETH in volume in the last 24 hours is Blur Farmers. I haven't heard of it before. Something maybe worth taking a look at to see if it's going to continue, if it's in trend. Sofa Maker, 210 ETH in the last 24 hours. That is a lot of ETH. So let me pull this one up and I'll take a look at this one in a moment. Unique NFT of Seraph. That one's got a lot of volume as well. The rest of these are relatively small and just getting some buzz. Yoga Pets I've looked at before, as well as Parallel Alpha with some of my students in the past. I'm not going to dig into Pepemon. I think that's just a trend, though. That's a funny looking logo. They did a pretty good job with that. I'll pull up Yoga Pets. I'll take a look at that. ASM Brains, 31 ETH. That's something I haven't heard of. I'll open that up as well, see if that's something. My Keyboard, 33 ETH, but I don't know. I'm not going to open up everything here, so let's see what else is trending. Top collector buys today. The Grapes, 143 ETH in volume. Yeah, Pudgy, Mutant Apes, volume is trending up. 475 ETH in the last 24 hours. Looks like the floor is starting to lift on those, which is nice to see as well. So I'll just leave it at those few for now. I'm not going to dig into the into this too deeply, but I did want to touch on this for you guys. So just scrolling down, let's see if anything else pops out under different categories. It's interesting that they have a membership separate category now here. Snoop Dogg on. So this is probably comes with some limited edition music from Snoop. I did test that out a little bit when it started to trend, and I actually tested out LimeWire when it made its comeback as well. I bought the launch NFT of, for those of you that remember, Soulja Boy. Obviously, I wasn't buying it for the music, but just reminded me of years ago when he kind of made his mark on torrents and took off back then. So they used him for the marketing campaign when they relaunched LimeWire about 6 months ago or something like that with music NFTs. And then not long after, all the marketplaces started pushing music NFTs themselves, as well as a few of these new platforms as well. So Women Unite strong. That's always nice to see as well. I am a holder of Women Unite. All right, let's dive into these. So Sofa Maker, 7% of them are listed, so it's not, there's a decent amount of liquidity, but people aren't selling them as soon as they're minting them, which overall looks good. This just came out November 2023. I don't know what this is. Let's take a look at their website. So obviously, since this just came out, there is a chance that a lot of these people that are minting, they are going to offload some. So far it hasn't happened, but before diving into this, I would kind of keep my eyes on it for a couple of days to see if price does pull down or if it holds coming off the launch. Some interesting art. Let's see, it says mint here. Will it allow us to mint? Or do you got to be on a whitelist or something like that? Chances are you have to sign up ahead of time. I don't think it's going to let me mint, but please connect wallet. I am not on the right browser to do that, so I'm not going to do that right now. But for those of you that want to check this out to see if you can mint potentially, go check out sofanft.io. And then I'm just going to look back at the roadmap and see what it says here. I'll take a look at the chart and we'll move on to the next couple. Quirky website. See if it says anything. Now, for those that are interested in this, if you join our Discord, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information. I just came across this, so I haven't dug into it. Nonetheless, while that's loading, let's go take a look at the analytics. IP crafted by Promised Island makers. $18,000 followers, so a decent amount of people paying attention, assuming they're real followers. So over the last 7 days, volume and price. So things trended back up over the last 5 days. It kind of dropped off after November 13th, which I don't know if that was the launch date or not, but I'm going to guess that it was, since this wasn't a very old collection. So there was a spike in floor price over the last couple of hours. Now it's pulled back down. I don't know what spurred that. Likely some people sold off into the spike and that's pulled it back down. Overall, things were ranging between 0.4 and 0.16, 0.17, something like that. So overall, this looks pretty healthy considering it just came out. Let me go to first sale date. We'll see if that changes things. Looks like things are trending back up towards the 0.2 mark. So if you're looking to scalp, you might be able to make a quick like 0.05 ETH if you scalp off the floor and you sit on this for a day and pull the trigger like when things are back in the 0.2 range. Other than that, that's if you really want to take a risk on it. Other than that, maybe watch this for a couple days and see what happens with it before you decide to enter, if you do plan on holding for longer than a day or two and doing a scalp trade on this. This is loading. Let me go over here. They partnered with Kintaro Club. This is some of the artwork. Interesting. Yeah, first sale date was November 12th. So since it came out, it's been very healthy. If this trend does hold and it stays in like around this range, like this projected range, then yeah, you can potentially make like 0.05, something like that. Otherwise, if I'm looking at it beyond like a 1 or 2 day scalp, I would watch this probably until Thursday. Give it like 3 days, and see if it keeps ranging sideways or if it pulls down a little bit before I would dive into an entry. I might recap this on Thursday. Yeah, we'll see. All right, moving along. Let's take a look at Yoga Pets. Just closing these tabs here. I know sometimes my stream can be a little laggy if I got too many tabs open. So Yoga Pets, 0.3 listed. So these are very illiquid. That means price can move a lot when it does move. I don't know how many buyers are waiting to buy. Probably a decent amount considering how much volume there is. So overall, that's like super bullish for this. So if you do manage to get one, that means you're one of the few people that will be willing to sell it because everyone's holding on to them. I'm assuming because they have to hatch into something. That being said, if you're scalping, that's an entirely different trade. Overall, things are trending up. Projected that the floor price is going to keep moving up from here. Floor price is 0.479 right now. And it's pumping hard. So I would not look at an entry until this either stabilizes for a few days or pulls back. So definitely don't jump into a trade on this unless you have some inside information. And you know something I don't. That's really going to push this floor up into like the 0.6 range or something like that. But yeah, watch this for a few days. This is likely going to top out after a day or two and kind of come back down a little bit. I don't know how far it's going to run before it pulls back down. So if you're holding one, great time for you. Otherwise, keep an eye on this and then maybe look at it on like towards like Wednesday or Thursday as well. Give it a few days and see if it sticks around this like somewhere in this 0.4 to 0.5 range, or if it pulls back down to like 0.3 where it was ranging for the longest time here. So overall, I like the lack of like paper handers though, even though the price is doing what it's doing. So ASM Brains. So this is another new one. Unique artificial intelligence owned via NFT. Okay, so it's got an AI narrative to it. They're interoperable across different forms and worlds. Very interesting. I'd have to look more into this to get a grasp on it. While that's loading, let's take a look at the analytics on it. So December 2021, so this isn't new. This has been around for a while. Since it's surging, I'm going to guess that they have either like a new collection or some sort of new utility, some reason you'd want these, or the game or metaverse or something that they're attached to is launching soon. So maybe their website or their Twitter will give more info on that when I look at it in a moment. Last 7 days, sales are up 400+%. Volume and price is trending back up significantly. Floor price is at 0.39 right now. So I just need to look at this floor price chart here. website while I give that a minute to load. Okay. Anyone to own, train, and trade unique artificial intelligence. And it can be used within avatars, games, worlds, and other metaverse applications. And it's linked to an NFT. So that's interesting. So they're looking at making this cross-interoperable AI agent. Train an AI agent to battle your opponent. And then they have an arcade-style demo driven as well, where you can integrate it into a game. So if they can link this to through partnerships with a fair bit of games, or one of the large metaverses like Sandbox or Decentraland or something like that, I think this can be massive in my opinion. So I'm definitely gonna be watching this. I'm gonna dig into it a little bit more too. So it's a FIFA license project. A couple of these other projects and partners. Yeah, so this is based in New Zealand. Interesting. Definitely something we're digging into more. They have an ASTO token as well, so it is tradable. That's interesting. You know what? I'm gonna pull up ASTO and let's see. State machine. So it's got a decent sized market cap, 595 on the list. $33 million market cap. 2 million in trading volume in the last day. Fully diluted valuation's 108. So, doing a division on that, that's like 0.33, 0.34. Ratio, which is, overall is pretty healthy on this. That means it's got a decent amount of room to grow from its market cap to reach its full diluted valuation. Yeah, overall this looks like a very interesting project linked to NFTs. So for those of you that want to dig into this a bit more, I encourage you to do so. I might join our Discord and take a look at this myself. Wasn't looking for any more NFT plays, but you never know. Sometimes things just find you, right? It does look like things ran up considerably over the last couple of hours. Price is starting to come back down a little bit. So I would not dive into the NFT side of things right now. Maybe give it 12 hours, 24 hours at the very least to see if this pulls back further down to this range that it was trending for 4 days before. And you might be able to find a nicer entry to where it is now. But overall, sounds interesting, has a lot of attention and volume going. All right, next up, the grapes. So I just saw this one as well. So floor price is a little over 2 ETH, 1% are listed, so very illiquid. Most people are holding on to these. This was created in May. Looks like some of these grapes are going to be opening soon, like these crates. That's probably what's driving some of this volume. Sales are down 40%. So looks like there was some heavy sales the week before, maybe because they had some drop coming up or something like that. I think some of the volume that we're seeing on the 7-day is like bleeding over from last week then. Yeah, that would make sense. What's this loading? I'm just going to see if there's anything in the chat quickly. Nope. Seems to be okay. All right, well, while that's loading, I'm just going to pop over to Boar, and we'll take a look at the home screen of Boar, see what else is turning there, and then I'll circle back to grapes. So Yoga Pet, 7-day, 62%, 1-day, 53%. The Bakery Genesis, 18%, 19% in the last 7 days, but 51%, almost 52% in the last day. So that one is definitely running. It's something worth looking into. Usually when I go on Boar here and I'm digging into NFTs, I'm looking for opportunity in names that are recognized or things that had a lot of volume that have pulled back, but are quality projects with a decent amount of owners. So something, maybe not necessarily 42%, but to give you some context, like I'd be looking at Meebit out of this list. Mutant 8 being down, like pulling back, potentially an entry point soon. Azuki Elemental Beans, 10%, things like that. This is the access pass. That's the only reason why I said that. But normally if I saw something pulled back like 40% and it was quality, like I'd be looking for an entry in there potentially as well for a scalp. And Azuki Elementals is down 7% over the last week as well, starting to pop back up a little bit. So could be some potential for the Azukis as well. All right, back to grapes. Still solid volume. Volume and price is trending up. Floor price has trended up from the 1.8 range up to the 2, like close to 2.2. That was all in the last day. This could pop up even more. I don't know if you want to chase necessarily just to risk potentially getting another 0.1 or 0.2 ETH. I would, if this is me, I would watch this for 3 days, circle back around Thursday, see where things sit, and see if I might be more comfortable finding an entry later in the week if this is held stable or pulled back a little bit. And we'll give you some more data to go off of because it did just start moving in the less than the last day. So that's the grapes for those of you that are interested in the grapes. All right, I'll leave the NFT bit there for now. If there's a specific NFT project you want me to look at in a future live stream, comment down below on this and let me know, and I will come to it down the road. Same thing goes for specific coins. If there's something you want me to give my 2 cents on or take a look at, let me know the project down below as well. Happy to take a look at it in a future live stream. So to end things off, I'm going to come to the charts and just see where we're at right now. Yeah, so overall looking healthy. This is on the 5-minute, ranging back up. So over the next couple hours, we might see Bitcoin crack 38,000. RSI is looking healthy. It's in the middle as well. So still some room to run. Might bounce around for a couple hours in these high 37s, or like, yeah, it's probably gonna bounce around. But yeah, overall things are looking healthy on the charts for Bitcoin. I think overall we're still looking pretty good. Same thing for ETH here. RSI has bottomed out a little while ago, kind of come to the middle range, kind of come back. So overall, looking healthy on ETH. I think it might consolidate a little bit, bounce around this range before it takes another run at 2100. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Overall, everything's looking pretty healthy. Let me know if you enjoyed the slightly different take on things today, a little bit more into strategy and alts, a little bit more in NFTs. Overall, things are bullish. The accumulation window is rapidly closing, in my opinion, to accumulate before we really start taking off. Not that you can't dollar cost average in and accumulate as we go, but if you are looking to get altcoin positions and things in place, the longer you wait, the higher the market caps are going to be, and overall you're going to miss out on some multiples that you could have had if you got in slightly earlier. So give some thought to your altcoin strategy and your how your portfolio is going to be made up for the next 2 years. We're heating up. Things are likely going to continue moving upwards, considering how bullish everything is. And yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, guys. Comment in the comments where you're from or any projects or NFTs you want me to take a look at, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.